A very warm welcome to you all. I am Vijay Sir. I am the faculty of history here at L2A. Today, we are going to talk about types of inscriptions. The epigraphies are the one who study inscriptions. They are known as epigraphies. So, based on the nature and purpose of inscriptions, they have been categorized into various types. So, what are these various types of inscriptions? The first and the foremost is commercial inscriptions. Commercial inscriptions are to be found on the Harappan seals. So, this was written in pictographic script or Brostophaidon script, but we were unable to decipher. But most of the historians who have dug up the Harappan sites attribute that they are used for some commercial purposes. But it was not very much determined because we are unable to decipher the Harappan script. But it's a common agreement among the historians that it was used for some commercial purpose. So, Harappan seals are known as commercial inscriptions. The second category is commemorative. Commemorative inscriptions are related to those inscriptions which record the events of birth, death, and some great significance. So, they are known as commemorative inscriptions. Births, deaths, and some significant events are recorded in those inscriptions are known as commemorative inscriptions. So, for example, if you look at it, the Rumundai pillar inscription is a best example of this kind of inscription. Rumundai or Lumbini pillar inscription. This determines the birth of Lord Buddha in Lumbini, and this was issued by Ashoka in 3rd century BCE. So, another example of commemorative inscription is the Sarnath, where the Buddha first, took his first sermon, Sarnath. First sermon. And another example also can be given are the Dhauli and Jaugada inscriptions of Ashoka, the rock edicts, where it talks about the professing of Ashoka to Buddhism, his faith towards Buddhism and Buddhist Sangha is mentioned in Dhauli and Jaugada inscriptions of Ashoka. So, this is the second category of inscriptions. And the third category is votive or dedicative. So, as the name suggests, it is dedicating to certain gods and goddesses. Inscriptions dedicating to certain gods and goddesses are known as votive or dedicative inscriptions. The best example can be seen in the Besnagar Garuda pillar inscription which is in Madhya Pradesh, you know, in Vidisha area. So this was issued by the Heliodorus during the Sunga period, that is 2nd century BCE, Shunga period, and the Heliodorus was the Indo-Greek king. So his confession and his belief in Vishnu, Avatara, Garuda, is mentioned in this Besnagar Garuda pillar inscription. And another example can be seen in the Mandsaur pillar inscription of pillar inscription of Aulikara dynasty, Yashodharman. His victory over Hunas is mentioned in Mandsaur pillar inscription, for which the sun god, you know, dedicated to the sun god. Then you have another example is Bitari pillar inscription of Skandagupta. This is in UP, Skandagupta. Fifth century CE. So, sculpting of this inscription is dedicated to the sculpting of an avatar of Lord Vishnu. So, you can quote these three examples as the best examples of votive or donative inscriptions. And the fourth category is donative. Donative, as the name suggests, it's gift to some priests and other nobles for religious or other charitable purposes is known as donative inscriptions, and the best examples are the copper plate inscriptions issued by Bhumikaras, Gangas and Gajapatis of Odisha. Almost all the copper plate inscriptions of land grants can be attributed to the donative kind of or the donative type of inscriptions. The other category is very important for us is the eulogistic inscriptions. Eulogistic inscriptions, or it is in Sanskrit it is known as Prashasti. Prashasti or in praise of. So, the best example is the Allahabad pillar inscription of Samudragupta. The best example is the Allahabad pillar inscription of Samudragupta, written by his court poet Harisena. Of Samudragupta. 5th century CE by Harisena. So, one of the common feature of this Prashasti or any of the Prashasti is that only the good things about their patrons are mentioned in the Prashastis. It is only eulogistic in praise of their patrons. Like for example, if you see in the Allahabad pillar inscription, it talks about the conquest and the victories of Samudragupta. That was only recorded by Harisena. And you have another example is Aihole pillar inscription by Ravi Kirti in praise of Pulacation II of Chalukya dynasty. Aihole inscription of Pulacation II written by Ravi Kirti. So this is another Prashasti where you can quote as eulogistic inscription. Here the Pulacation's success over Harsha is recorded because he defeats Harsha. So that record and his events related to that is only mentioned by Ravi Kirti. So another category of inscriptions is known as the administrative type. Especially the Banskera and Madhuban copper plate inscription of Harsha of Pushyabhuti dynasty is mentioned here in the 7th century CE. So they talk about various officials and their duties and the land grants made by Harsha to various officers and priests or the Brahmins, and also they also talks about various tax systems. So the administrative type of inscriptions are better represented in the Banskera and Madhuban copper plate inscriptions. Even Ashokan inscriptions are also fall into this category because we hear of Mahamatras and we also hear about Rajukas are the ones who interfere when there is a sectarian conflict and also to upkeep the righteousness or the path of Dhamma. So Ashokan inscriptions are also fall into this category, but they have been given a special category. All the Ashokan inscriptions are known as royal decrees. Or in Sanskrit or in Hindi we say it as Raj Sashan, Raja Sasanas. Raja Sasanas. It's a royal decrees. It is all about the propagating of his Dhamma and how the sectarian of various communities living together should live in peace and tolerance. And also he, his recruitment of Mahamatras and Dhamma Mahamatras, Rajukas for clearing of the sectarian conflicts, and how how there should be tolerance between various Sramanas, like various sects are all mentioned. And Ashoka takes a paternalistic attitude in the sense he himself thinks of a father figure and directs his subjects, that is his people, to live in peace and harmony. And this kind of inscriptions are known as royal decrees or Rajasasanas. So to sum up, we have one is the commercial, basically seals, then you have commemorative, births and deaths, death, and events, significant events. Then you have whatever dedicative, then gods and goddesses. Then you have donative, type of inscriptions. Then you have eulogistic type of inscriptions. Then you have administrative, and in the last, royal decrees. So, thus these kinds of inscriptions, all these categories of inscriptions will not only help us in determining the rule of certain kings and kingdoms, and but also they highlight upon the trade, the economic aspects, and also throw light on the culture and the way the subjects have to behave in an order, and also it gives a general histories of that contemporary period. So that is how epigraphy or the study of inscriptions help us in reconstructing our ancient Indian past.